Did she say that? She can say whatever she wants. Back once again to Sonnie Johnson.
Welcome back to the show. This is Sonnie Johnson. Did she say that? A Breitbart podcast on Podcast One. As I've always reminded you, please subscribe to the show. Give your girl a 5-star rating and make sure you check back every week because it's going to be fun. Now, I'd like to introduce you to one of my friends, JaVonni Brustow. He operates popglitz.com, is one of the most intelligent people that I know, and I stand beside him in a fight any day. So we're going to go now to some news, both in the political world and in the cultural world. What's up, JaVonni?
So I wanted to start with Whoopi Goldberg had an epic debate on The View for chastising Ben Carson for endorsing Donald Trump. And listen, Whoopi turned and gave Ben Carson the ugliest face as if she were capable of making any other face, pretty much calling him crazy. Whoopi Goldberg, a woman who has worn glass heels on daytime television, a shoe generally reserved for hookers and strippers, with the heels filled with gummy bears. Gummy bears. She was calling someone else crazy. Yes.
Okay, look, I'm gonna stop you right there because you gonna find this funny. I would tell you, I have a girl crush on Whoopi Goldberg. Okay, so everybody's like, when I was like 10 years old, 11 years old, my definition of a beautiful black woman was Whoopi Goldberg. And like, I can't tell you the number of times my brothers roasted me. Like, she's so ugly. She's this, she's that. How can you say she's beautiful? And I could not for the life of me understand why they didn't see her as a beautiful woman. So I'm going to leave that right there. I have one of them girl crushes on Whoopi, and that's just the way it is.
Okay, fair enough. You know, I'm not really in the mood to to be patronizing. So I'm just going to leave you with that by yourself today.
About Ben Carson, though, this whole notion that somehow he has to justify his endorsement to anybody, I don't understand that. That is that man's right. This is my final, speak on the subject. You only like freedom when it looks like your freedom. If you thought that man was a Christian icon before he endorsed Donald Trump and now you think he's a snake in the grass, I think that there's something more wrong with you than it is with Ben Carson.
Now, I'll say that the one thing that I do respect about her while talking about this endorsement is that at least she didn't snatch the low-hanging fruit of calling him a racist.
Oh, she did.
I apparently had missed that part. If she did, I don't think the woman knows what it means. Do you remember a couple years ago, Mel Gibson was on the floor, scrounging around drunk, squishing a burger in his mouth? She said that he wasn't racist. Well, and mind you, in the video, he was using the N-word and calling people spics and wetbacks. But he said that he wasn't racist because he had been in her home. So I don't think that she knows what the word means in order to call someone that.
Yeah, I wouldn't take her advice from it ever since I seen Made in America. That was like that was enough for me. When she started getting it on with Ted Danson, I'm kind of like at the point where you can't cry racism in America anymore. Get over it.
Secretary of State John Kerry said that the recent attacks in Brussels were a sign that our anti-terror attacks or efforts in the Middle East were working. I don't know about you, but I've never heard of anyone speak of a terrorist attack and say, look on the bright side. It's actually a good thing.
I'm at the point where I'd rather have Obama tangoing and going to baseball games than actually handle. I'm at the point where I've given up on him being president. So I don't even want him making any decisions. I am perfectly happy if he was to take a 180-day trip around the world and not answer any other important calls. I would be okay with that. I would be okay with that. Only pop your head in once in a while to pat Hillary on the back to, get you through the election cycle. I would actually be okay with that. I've given up on that man as being a viable president.
I think that I would have to agree. I'm kind of feeling the same way, but I think that if in the meantime, if they do actually want to make some type of an effort over the next 180 days or whatever, I think that we can handle this in a very inexpensive way. They can send Hillary Clinton to Belgium. They could sit her outside of the airport and have her reenact some of her and Bill's kink fetishes. Tell her, bark Bark like a dog. Be a good intern.
You know Bill didn't do that with Hillary. He saved that for all the other women.
I can't think of any other reason, any other explanation for that little barking episode that she had, short of that being a live demonstration of her cankles barking back at her.
No, look, it's really funny because the people that are chastising her, like Donald Trump put out the video, and like, is this what you want to answer Putin? And I'm like, dude, they have you on Saturday Night Live dancing to "Call Me on Myself." Like, they got you. There's a video out there of you not being exactly, you know what I'm saying, the tough guy that you put on. So you might want to be cautious when you throwing out commercials like that.
That man he just has an arsenal. That's all I can say. I'm still not over him managing to buy JebBush.com and forwarding the domain back to his own campaign website. I've been in the web business for years. You just have to be a genius to manage to pull something like that off.
No, what we're genius at is that we started this with ISIS. This conversation started with ISIS. That's what you call genius right there. All right. So, like, basically our plan is to defeat ISIS some way, somehow. We're not going to, actually fight them, maybe pluck someone off here and there. But let's just go on with life pretending that they don't exist, because that is the Obama doctrine. Can we at least say that is the Obama doctrine, hands off ISIS?
Just admit it.
Just admit it, and then let us go on with life so we can, do the tango. We can go to a baseball game.
So Emory University students woke up to "Vote Donald Trump 2016" written all over the campus in chalk this week. The sight of seeing Donald Trump's name on the sidewalk was enough to send students all over campus into convulsions.
Get the fuck out of here.
The convulsions part may not have been confirmed, but that's how I imagine it would have happened. They said they were traumatized and needed therapy. Can you help me explain this one to me? How does this work?
Hey, I'm not even joking. These are your kids, people. Like, you want me to be mad at Emory. You want, no, I'm not mad at Emory. You raised these shitty little bastards. Like, this will never be my daughter. And I know for a fact that this will never be my daughter. My daughter is 11 years old and already money orientated. You know what I'm saying? Nothing she sees written anywhere is going to take her focus off of one day being a millionaire. And that's her dream. That's not my dream for her. You raise these sniveling little children. And, like, the sad part about this is most of these kids are probably from conservative homes, and their conservative parents paid for their college, and they get there and cry for safe space from chalk on a damn sidewalk.
But look, there's Vote for Hillary signs all over where I live. Where's my therapy? Who's going to pay for my therapist? It's pretty goddamn traumatizing.
Hey,
I need help.
You can call up the Clinton Global Initiative. I'm pretty sure they have some lines or chalks of communication for how they can shuffle money around and get that accomplished.
I would love to make that a project and record from start to finish, seeking help for there being or either one, or vote for. I could call her and ask for therapy for the Vote Trump signs.
Well, now that she wants to give health care to even the illegal aliens, maybe it'll actually be covered under Obamacare.
It's possible. I think it was on New Day, CNN's New Day. I believe it was the student body president and a couple representatives were speaking today, and they said that they were glad that this has been brought to the mainstream. They were glad that the chalkings happened because now they can have an open discussion about it. And even the Clinton News Network themselves were kind of baffled at how does this bother you in the sense that you feel that you need psychiatric help?
This is the death of higher learning institutions in this country. And I'm not ashamed for that. I don't feel sorry for them. They brought this on themselves. This is the death of higher education, higher learning. And this is why progressives find it completely necessary to take over the entire college loan industry, to take over everything, because they know and understand that they are losing their grip. The kids who really go there just to get an education, they're not going to put up with this shit for long. They have to take a job to pay for their tuition. They're not there because mommy and daddy paid for them. They're not safe space people. You're going to lose them, and they're going to find themselves not going to institutions of colleges, but instead of using online apps to get the information they need to go into the industries that they need, and they're going to kill the higher learning education system in America.
Now, look, if they got this upset over some graffiti, could you imagine what they would do if they went into like the bathrooms where I went to college, where there were penises drawn on the wall and people's phone numbers that nobody liked? They commit suicide.
See, look, that'll take us into a whole nother territory. Let's switch over and do some cultural stuff. Culturally, oh my gosh, culturally, what you got? I'm scared.
In this week's edition of Crazy with comedian Katt Williams, the 42-year-old got into an epic knockdown drag-out fight with a 17-year-old and lost. You know, there are things that kids in high school do that irritate me, such as breathing and living within a mile radius of where I live. But you don't see me going outside and slugging anybody.
That wasn't what happened. I saw the Katt Williams video. Katt ran into one of them little kids in the street that mama didn't beat him. You know, that little kid, that mama didn't beat him. Because if she had it, he wouldn't have acted like that. Katt was out playing soccer with the kids, trying to be a good role model. You know, the man only got 24 hours in a day, and 20 of them is, you know, giving the substance abuse. Or giving the substance abuse. But, you know, he takes the other 4 hours and, gives it to the kids. And one of these little kids wanted to test him and wanted to. The only thing that I laugh at is the fact that he did kind of get his butt whooped. So I'll laugh at that. But I ain't going to put it on Katt because he was trying to do the right thing. But the most hilarious part was he responded almost immediately because he had a stand-up show. I don't know if it was like the next night, but he did a stand-up show. And, you know, Charlemagne called him the donkey of the day. So he's like, he went off on Charlemagne. So he's like, yeah, I might got beat by a 17-year-old, but I'm still a nigga. It was like funny to see that little man try to pump up his chest. It was quite funny.
I mean, I guess I have to give him a little credit. I mean, like, I've lost track of his legal run-ins over just the last 30 days alone. He did a bachelorette party, and a woman got up and she said, Kevin Hart is funnier anyway. And then here this little 5'5" munchkin goes and charges her across the room, tackles her, punches her in the face, and then as she's leaving, he's laughing and aiming his gun at the car.
Okay, I didn't hear about that one, but that's not laughable behavior. You know, like some of this stuff getting beat by a 17-year-old, I could kind of laugh at, but yeah, that's not laughable behavior.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that was he was trying to balance out with karma there. Didn't quite make it in the end. I mean, he tried with the kid. The boy was like, it is what it is. You know, he jumped in his face, and he told him he got on this respect your elders kick. And he told him, what are you going to do about it? You know, you lost the game. The kid lost the game. They got into a scuffle. Hopefully he does better.
I'll pray for Katt Williams. You know, most of us, we let these people entertain us. We let these people make our days. We let these people make us smile or make us cheer or make us feel happy. And then when they fall down, we forget that they're human because of everything that they've given to us. But understand, they gave something to us. So when they fall down, we don't have to kick them while they down. So I'll send a prayer out to Katt Williams that
he kind of already got the kicking. He's had enough of that.
I'm trying to be honest.
Thank you.
I'm trying to be honest and show real emotion, dude. Don't make me laugh and sound. You know what I'm saying? You making me sound insincere.
Moving along, switching over to geriatric news, Madonna has really been at it lately. She fell off a stage, I think last summer. She ripped a 17-year-old's breast out on stage a few weeks ago, and she just pulled one of the biggest forms of privilege that I think I've ever seen. The lady buys a $40 million condo in Manhattan. And because she felt she didn't have enough parking, she paints the sidewalk yellow, buys no parking signs for the sidewalk, and wait for it, pours wet cement to engrave no parking into the sidewalk in front of her desired space. I think that all she got from it was a fine. I don't remember it going any further than that. But I swear this is like America's Best Criminals Hall of Fame. I mean, it's pretty impressive that you could actually have thought all of that out. And the wet cement part, that just really takes it to a whole nother level.
My only question is, did she get to keep the parking spot?
I mean, it wasn't hers. She created her own space. I mean, if I were a liberal, I would have called this white privilege. But I'm pretty sure that I think that she's just smart. I think that if Beyonce could have thought of that, she would likely do the same thing.
I'm about to say, that's boss privilege. That's Trump privilege right there. That's what that is. You call it, like on our side, we can't call it white privilege. We just call it boss privilege, and we're gonna call it Trump privilege. Give it our own meaning, so we don't sound like progressives when we talk about it. Because I find a lot of instances where I see people taking advantage of what they think should be privilege. And I don't want to call it white privilege. I just, it's either boss privilege or you have lost your damn mind privilege. I think for this one, for Madonna on this one, I'm like, this is boss privilege. Like, with you and Madonna, you're supposed to have your own parking spot. Maybe I'm wrong, okay? Maybe I'm a elitist or whatever, but shit, boss people make boss moves. And you can't say that
I think she should have a helicopter pad. Like,
that
to come along with it.
A little bit of both. You know what I'm saying? I want my own. I've been to, where is this at? Where is this at?
As for the actual neighborhood that she's in, because I didn't realize she was in New York at all.
Oh, it is in New York. Have you seen the part? Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah, that's boss move. Boss move. Shout out to Madonna. I never give you shots out. I really don't like you at all, but boss move on that one. I give you boss move on that one.
I mean, just for being smart enough to think that up. And the University of Southern California study recently found that she was both desperate, embarrassing, and a toxic figure, trying to insinuate that she might be on a bit of a career breakdown or mental breakdown in order to do something like that. And I just asked, well, where have you all been the last 30 years? I think that she has been considered embarrassing, desperate, and a toxic figure for the last 3 decades. This type of behavior from Madonna is not shocking. I would be upset if she didn't do something like this. Okay. I only expect it. And when I get to be that age, that's exactly what I want to act like.
I'm gonna give her the same thing I gave. I'm gonna give her the same thing I gave Katt Williams, and I'm gonna pray for both of them.
I pray that I will be able to get to that stage in life where I am able to do the same thing.
There you go.
So pray for me. Pray for the future Vonnie.
All right, what's your last story?
How about a man got arrested for not turning in a 14-year-old VHS tape? The movie that was in question was Freddie Got Fingered. And what I want to know is, what was he doing with a VHS tape in 2001 in the first place? Like, I really thought we all had DVDs by that point.
I'm so happy my VHS store went out of business, because I know I still have some of their VHSs here. I'm so glad my Blockbuster went out of business, because I know for certain I still have VHSs here. So this story is going to make me look out my window, and every time I see a police car, and I'll be like, are they coming to get me? Look, I still have the VHS copy of Fresh. And you remember how long ago? I can't even remember. Was it 98, 97, 98? I still have the VH copy of Fresh. So this could so be me.
Sonnie, I think that we have viewers who are probably not as old, or listeners who are not as old as that tape. That's just a shame.
I would think that you try to insult me, but I'm still sexy, so the age don't matter as long as No, I'm just joking. I get it.
How old was I when that tape? Was I old enough to watch television?
Hey, that joint was That's a fly movie. That's a fly movie. That's what taught me the difference between playing checkers and playing chess. That's a movie. If you ain't seen it, go back and catch fresh. That was a real good movie.
Now, when it comes to, some of us check our Google results because, it's just, it's business. It comes with the territory. Of all the movies to make a headline for, who wants to have a Google headline with Freddie got fingered next to their name?
Look, I can't honestly.
Or to have that act insinuated.
I can tell you honestly.
To your name.
I laughed solely at the name because I've never seen the movie. So my giggles were completely at just the name because I have never seen the movie.
I remember when it came out, and for the same reason, I have never seen it either. I've heard of it. I will not bring myself to watching anything of that title. I'm sorry. And that is the most attention for a non-standard sex act I've witnessed since Michael Douglas said a couple years ago he got throat cancer from oral with his wife. Did you ever hear that? I just put that into an article. So they got a divorce, or she filed for divorce like right after he said it. My mouth dropped. This old man can hardly speak and has cancer. We're already feeling sorry for him, and then you're going to blame your wife? That's horrible.
Look, you got me praying for people. Look, all I can do in a conversation with you is pray for people.
Oh, pray for me for thinking this stuff up. And so arresting someone he was arrested. He was just pulled over for a minor traffic violation, and there he finds himself, being taken into, hauled off to jail. If that's not government run amok, I don't know what is. Oh. And if that's not enough, a man was court-martialed in Texas for a $1,500 student loan back from 1987, several years before I was born. I don't know about you, but I am putting Texas and Concord, California, where the guy with the VHS tape was arrested, on my list of places not to move to. I thought Texas was, this was our friendly conservative territory.
Oh my God!
I'm scared.
All right,
$1,500. I've owed less. I've defaulted on less than with a credit card before.
This is what I get for bringing JaVonni onto the show. Well, thank you so much, and make sure you go out and check out popglitz.com and see all of JaVonni's hard work in action. Thank you so much for coming on, and we'll see you back next week, every week, right?
Right. You're welcome.
All right. This is Did She Say That, and we'll be back in a moment. There's something about TrueCar a lot of people don't know. Using TrueCar can also help you buy a used car. In fact, there are over 500,000 pre-owned vehicles available